Today on the grid, Erik Kuna is back from gallivanting around, which is a nice change, I might add. But it is our blind photo critiques day. But before we get to our blind photo critiques, we have a very special guest. Greg Rostami is here, and he's going to share some killer tips for using one of our very favorite plugins. Plugins is the word on Earth, Topaz AI Sharpen. This is all coming up in just a few seconds. We've got some great giveaways, and it all starts in just 23.5 seconds. Let's go!
The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
Well, hey, everybody, and welcome to another live episode of The Grid. Scott Kelby here, and look who's here.
Hey, I'm back.
It's not just the Rocket Man, it's the real Rocket Man. Kuna's back from gallivanting around.
Always gallivanting.
Now, he and I went gallivanting.
Yes.
We went gallivanting, but it was okay. It was an officially sanctioned gallivant because last week was the worldwide photo walk, which was just awesome.
Awesome.
And I chose to walk in Edinburgh, Scotland. Erik came along, and we met up with a bunch of our friends like Cheeky Nando and Hip Hop and a bunch of my brother Dave Williams. And
Dave drove us all over.
Dave drove us
because none of us could drive on the wrong side
of the road. And yes, it is the wrong side of the road.
Unless we found out you're jousting, and then it's the right side.
But we found out why it was the wrong side, so that makes it a little bit better. Anyway, we had a wonderful time. We took lots of pictures. We made lots of new friends. Erik, I sent you some of the pictures from some of the people that were on our photo walk in Edinburgh. Yeah. Man, we had some lights out photographers on our photo walk. I mean, we had people that were just phenomenally good photographers and super nice. The Scottish people just in general are just a delight. And it was, but we
well, and I've been seeing images all around the globe, and there's just phenomenal pictures.
Oh, yeah. It was so great for the first time in 3 years to get back out there walking in person. And so that was really, really great. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we go on. Today is Blind Photo Critique Day, but we're going to start off the show with a very special guest. Standing by from somewhere in an undisclosed location in California is our buddy Greg Rostami. And Greg is an expert at Topaz Sharpen AI. So how you doing, Grego?
I'm doing great, Scott. Thank you for having me here. Hello.
Hey, all right, Grego. So Grego is an absolute expert, and he gave me some secrets recently that changed the way I use Topaz AI, and he agreed to come on and share some of those. It's we're big fans of On1 here, right? We use the On1 and we use Boris Effects. But when it comes to sharpening,
there's nothing.
There's nothing like Topaz AI Sharpen. I described it in a keynote speech I did up at the NECC as simply cheating. Using this is cheating.
It does feel like it.
It feels like you're doing something naughty because it's just so good. And so anyway, so Greg is going to share some tips. We have some giveaways. So Greg, stand by. We're just going to go over our giveaways today because we have a bunch of them. And what do we got? What are we giving away today, Mr. K?
All right, so we've got, let's zoom through these. We've got the Platypod goosenecks. We're going to give those away.
They're loosey. They're goosey.
We've got the travel photography book here by Scott. And then we have the How Do I Do That in Lightroom book by Scott. Scott's always writing books. And then we've got the On1 Effects 2022, which we love that. Like you talk about, On1 Effects. And then we're going to be giving away one V-Flat from V-Flat World, as well as one Dual Board XL from V-Flat World. That's for U.S. only, so just make sure that you're in the U.S. if you want to enter that, or could ship to the U.S. And you can also use the code Kelby10 at checkout and save 10% over there at V-Flat World.
I have a shoot tonight that I'm doing, and I'm using V-Flats.
Oh, yeah.
The V-Flat World stuff is top notch.
It's amazing, and it can fit in your sedan. You just fold it down.
Yeah, you could fold it up. I went for my whole life going, I cannot take these on location.
Yeah, you got to have like a U-Haul or a truck.
Not anymore.
No,
and everybody's using them. They've really they've caught fire here.
Oh yeah,
recently.
All right. So, and if you want to enter the contest, all you got to do is leave us a comment, tell us what you want to win, and then we'll pick the winner at the end of the show.
Or not.
Or not.
No, we will.
Sure Christina will remind us.
We will absolutely. Okay. Grego,
Yes.
We're passing the mic to you. And, you know, have you ever seen DJ Cassidy? Do you know who DJ Cassidy is? He does all those old school things where he gets the original performers to come and sing over their songs, like disco songs and stuff and all. So that's what he does. He passes the mic. We're giving love and passing the mic.
Yeah, show us the Topaz magic. I know there's one thing he's going to show that you told me about. And I was like, oh, I know that. But then the other thing, it was like, no, I didn't know that.
I didn't know either one. All right, Greg, what do you got? Talk to us.
All right, let's do it. Well, first of all, I want to start off by, can everybody see my screen right now?
Yes.
You can. Okay, wonderful. So the biggest secret about using Sharpen AI is first, just use it. Meaning that when you get the product, you start using it, and it's going to just blow your socks off, because you're going to start off with photographs that look like this, that came out of your camera, and after you're done, you're going to get photos that look like that, where every photo that you've ever taken that you thought was sharp actually still has some areas that are not so sharp, and it could be due to motion blur or depth of field or for whatever else. Okay, so let's take you through a typical workflow of what Sharpen AI does. I'm going to start out with this one just because it's like almost impossible, and this is just out of focus, right? And when you jump into Sharpen AI, just to show for the people that are not familiar with the user interface of Sharpen AI, on the right-hand side, you have a selection of what kind of a model or what kind of a problem you have with the photograph. And in this case, I know that the photo is out of focus, and that's why I'm going to start out with choosing out of focus. And then down below are your controls, you know, how much blur you want to remove, or if there's any noise that you want to remove. And you can see that immediately it's already done a miracle. Because truly, the left side is the before, and the right side is the power of AI hallucination. And what I mean by that is that the computer actually doesn't really know what is behind all of the blur, but it takes an amazing guess at how it's going to remove the blur from your photograph to give you the sharpened version of that photograph. So if you like what you see, and this is just the automatic variables that are there, you click apply, and it does a little bit of calculation, and when it's done, you're going to get your before and after.
And I will say, anymore, it's very fast, very fast.
Yes, very fast.
On the new Macs, it's unbelievably fast. You know, on the new M1-based machines, there's a lot of optimization there. So essentially, as far as the before and after goes, this is where we were a few seconds ago. Really, really blurry, right? And here's where we are now, where everything is nice and sharp. So this is an example of something that is out of focus, that's blurry, right? But let me give you an example of things that can be motion blur. So motion blur, here's a good example, things that are rotating, shaking, a camera shake. It doesn't really matter where the motion blur comes from, because we do have, of course, the solutions for that here in Topaz. I'm using Topaz right now in Photoshop, but you're welcome to use it in Lightroom or Capture One. You can use it just about anywhere. You can even use it standalone. So if you don't have any kind of an editor, Sharpen AI does work on its own. So now in this case, we're going to go to just motion blur, because we do know that the problem is motion blur. And again, I'm going to leave it just to the automatic variables. And if you are ever wondering what Sharpen AI is doing, down at the bottom over here, you'll see a little progress bar that shows you how far along it is in thinking about the problem. And so once it gets to the end, the motion blur should be removed from the photograph. And we saw that a moment ago, actually, with the bird photograph. Oh, there it is. You know, so basically, there's the left side where you got the blur. There's the right side where the blur's been removed. And if you like what you see, you click apply, and of course, it applies that to the entire image. So as far as the before and after goes on that one, here is the before of that image, and there is the after. So this is a good example of things that are happening across the entire frame, meaning that every pixel in your photograph is being affected by Sharpen AI. There are many times where you don't want to do that, where, let's say in this photo here, her hand, unfortunately, is what is in focus, meaning that I misjudged focus. Her hand's in focus, she's out of focus. And of course, the young man in the background is out of focus intentionally because he's not really the subject of the photograph. But let me show you once again how easy it is to be able to accommodate just small areas of the photo. So you just jump back into Sharpen AI, and we're going to zoom in close on her face. There we go. Let's get a little closer there, just like there. And we know she's out of focus, so that's why we're going to use the out of focus model. And after a little bit of calculation, you'll see how it's going to try to remove the blurriness of her face. But at the same time, it's going to try to do that to the rest of the photograph as well. So I want to show you how by masking off certain regions. There we go. Wow, yeah. Right? So there's the before. As you can see, it's too soft. And there's the after, where we've sharpened the photo. But if I was to pan across to some of the other parts of the photo, I would see that the other parts are getting it as well. So let's fix that problem. We're going to zoom out. And jumping into the mask, I can say that I want to add just this area right here. Just her and nothing else. Okay, so now by masking off that area, and notice I'm not going to touch her hand because her hand I already know is in focus. So when I apply the mask now and we zoom back in, and yeah, it's actually doing it right now. I can see the progress bar down in the lower left-hand corner. There you go. So now we have her being sharpened, and her hand is still sharpened, and the young man in the background is still out of focus. And once you're happy with that, you click apply, and it will apply it, of course, just to that part of the photo. So this is how you're going to do it on just a small region of your photographs where you feel that the rest of the photo is just fine. Now, the big secret about using Sharpen AI is sometimes people get Sharpen AI and they give it things that might be like excessively blurry. Oh, so here's the results. So there's the before right there. There's the after, right, where her face is now just perfectly sharp the same way that her hands are sharp, and it just looks like we had originally taken the photo where the subject was sharp. And this is what Scott meant by it feels like cheating, because it really does feel like cheating, because the original shot, of course, was just too soft, you know. So the secret about using Sharpen AI, if you notice that in the original resolution that you're using Sharpen AI, it's not removing your blur, it's because your resolution is just too high. Now, you might have noticed me do that with some of the photos that I brought in here early. So let's say, for example, we're looking at a photo like this. That's pretty extreme, right? Okay, now the reason why I can fix this photo is that if this photograph was really high res and I attempted to remove the blur from it, most likely Sharpen AI would fail. But by down-resing that image, by reducing the resolution, then the neural network, or what the machine learning has been trained about removing blur, gets smart and understands that that blur is within its tolerance of being able to fix it, and therefore it goes ahead and it fixes it. So as you can see, it's working on the image right now, and again, there it is. So this is what it was a few seconds ago, just a really mess of out-of-focus blur, and now all this wonderful detail has been brought into the program. Yeah, and we apply that for it to take effect. So let me see if there is some other really cool examples I can share here with you guys. Just because I've been working with a lot of Sharpen AI lately. Whenever you shoot kids, they move around all the time, the camera's shaking, of course. There's a solution right there. There are endless amount of applications, as we saw for wildlife photography. So for those of you who do any kind of bird photography, you know how difficult that is, because you have a fast shutter speed, and still, no matter how fast the shutter speed is, you still get blur. In this case, you can see the blur here at the tips of the wings, which is usually where you see blur. But then after you run it through Sharpen AI, that is just, oh my gosh. Okay, let me take a look at that a little bit more closely. Again, that's the original photo out of the camera, and that's Sharpen AI. Yeah.
That's great. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's
crazy
cheating.
good.
It's cheating. It's cheating, Greg.
Like
you
cheating.
know it's cheating.
It is cheating, you know. Yeah, and that's, I think, one of the most exciting aspects about using Sharpen AI is that, you know, you'll take photos that you thought were great, and then you put it through Sharpen AI and you discover, wow, it could be so much better, you know. Another good example of, you know, the subject being out of focus, you can see how the camera is focusing on the cards that are in his hand instead of his face, and that's why his face is soft. But then after it goes through Sharpen AI, now both the cards and his face are sharp, because all I did is just mask off his face and make sure everything else is left alone, you know. So yeah, it goes on and on and on in being able to, you know, remove blur from every kind of a photograph, you know, regardless of what it is. So yeah, Scott.
Do you have any other secret tips?
Other secret tips.
Secret tips.
As far as using Sharpen AI, the biggest one is resolution is key. So if at the current resolution that you're on, if you're noticing that it's not doing the best job, it's just because your blur radius, as we like to call it at Topaz Labs, is too much, and by reducing resolution, all you're doing is you're reducing that blur radius, so therefore the AI can do what it needs to do. As far as other kinds of secret tips that I have for you in the software is sometimes the automatic settings are not the best settings, and I know that anybody that uses Sharpen AI extensively knows that. So don't be afraid of turning off that auto mode and just experimenting with it and moving the sliders. And then the final tip that I have for you is always zoom in. So let's say, for example, if I take a photograph like this and we jump into Topaz, there we go, Sharpen AI. Normally, if you want to be able to have a really fast workflow, what I always like to do is I like to do this side-by-side view over here, and I'll use the maximum amount of zoom in. And in this case, you can see it's quite a bit, right? So I'm in a relatively lower resolution screen right now, but in this case, we want to do a motion blur. We'll do motion blur very blurry, and by zooming in, it forces Sharpen AI to work with just that region that it's taking into consideration. So therefore, it doesn't have to do as much calculation with the rest of it. And then once the blur has been fixed, then you know that you got the right variables. And in this case, this is a little too much just because we can see some crazy artifacts going on there. But you can easily tweak those until you get the final results. And then once you're happy with the results, then you click apply, and it's going to apply it to the entire photo. So that's the other big secret about using.
All right. Well, Greg, thank you so much. Now, Greg, you have in the past had a code we could use to get money off. Oh, I guess there it is. All right.
Oh, yeah. Sharpen AI is the tool that I use literally on every photo. And I know many of the photographers that are my friends, and you guys as well, as you talk about it all the time. It's indispensable in what it can do to your photos. This is a great little coupon code. It ends on September 4th. It's actually a 2-week promo code. So whatever, it's 2 weeks from now. So if you're interested in getting it, just head on over to topazlabs.com, and you can purchase anything you like. It doesn't necessarily have to be Sharpen AI, but if you do use the promo code Sharpen, it's going to give you 15% off of whatever you purchase from Topaz Labs.
Sweet. Awesome. All right, Greg, thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to share that. It's funny, Greg, I was going to, the Photoshop World Conference is coming up next week. We're just a week away. We're very excited about it. And in one of the previous Photoshop Worlds, I did a class on sharpening, right?
Wow.
But the truth of the matter is I don't use Photoshop sharpening anymore.
Yes.
I use Sharpen AI. That's it. That is my sharpening tool. So my class would be this: open up AI, wait for it to render, click OK, and I'll take questions for the next 59 minutes. So that's why I didn't do the class, because I really don't have anything to show in Photoshop sharpening, because it's now I still know how to sharpen in Photoshop, right? My brain didn't empty. But here's how I feel about it. And I told this to the audience that I was talking to at the NACC. Why am I showing you Topaz AI? Do I get a kickback? I get nothing. I get no money from it or anything. And I said, but what would it be like if your instructor's telling you, here's how to sharpen in Photoshop, but when you're not around and you're not looking, he's actually using something else. He's actually secretly using a plugin. And I thought, that's not right. I should be... Yep. That's my job, right? That's like my gig is to,
like, if you find an easier way, you want to know the easier way.
That's what we're all about. That's what we built our whole education on, is like we're trying to help people get better results, And I've always said that sharpening was the great equalizer. Mm-hmm. Like sharpening was the thing that whatever lens you have, it's fine, because if you know how to sharpen, you don't have to buy a new lens. Yeah. This is next level sharpening. So this is whatever lens you have, I don't care what it is, man, you can just go crazy with that thing, and get great shots with whatever. So don't think you have to buy a new lens to get sharp photos. You need to buy a new plugin. That's what you need. So, but that's why. I mean, that's why I told people. So, Greg, nice seeing you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Scott, thank you so much for having me. This is wonderful.
And we'll see you soon. Take care, buddy.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye-bye.
And Greg's out. Greg, I mean, outside of what we know about Greg is, so Greg develops as his like side business or hobby or whatever his side hustle. He develops just absolutely amazing magic tricks, and he sells those magic tricks in some cases to the biggest, famous, best known magicians in the world. And Greg is an incredible magician. I mean, I go to dinner with Greg and my head explodes. He is so good at sitting right in front of you and doing magic that's just...
Well, it's probably why he's into Topaz Sharpen, because it's like magic.
Because it's like magic. I see what you did there. Yeah. That's a good one. All right, we're going to take a very short pause. When we come back, we got some shout-outs, and we're jumping right into today's blind photo critiques. I want to give you a warning. It's going to be a rough one today. It's gonna be. It's rough. It's gonna be a rough day.
This is gonna be fun.
Gonna tell you up front. It's a little rough. All right, we're back
later.
After this short pause.
I'm Hilmar Smith, and this is my new class, Creative Family Portraits for Special Occasions. This is an amazing way that you can learn how to incorporate different kind of ideas into your photography business that will bring you money throughout the year. We're gonna be doing 3 live shoots, one with a toddler. So I will teach you how to photograph a toddler and keep them entertained and get mom and dad relaxed throughout the photo shoot. Then we're gonna be photographing a girl, and she's gonna be using these pictures for her special occasion, as an invitation for her birthday party. And then I'm gonna be showing you how to photograph your own family the way that I do photograph my own. Step up your photography game. Don't put yourself in a box. And join me in my new class at kelby1.com.
I used to always see pictures of those protests back in the 60s during the civil rights movement. And then when that moment came where everybody was in the streets, I knew I had to be out there. I wanted to protest, but I also wanted to capture what was happening. The good, bad, the ugly, the beautiful. That's what drawn me out there. And that was a moment that changed my life and I will never forget. I feel like my camera is an amplified voice. To be there in person, to catch their anger, their frustration, their sadness, seeing people on people's shoulders crying, screaming at just nothing. I can show that to thousands and thousands of people with my photos.
Hey, I'm Erik, and I just wrapped up filming a class on the new Canon R3 for Kelby One, and we went over everything to do with the buttons, the dials, the settings with this camera. But not only that, this camera is built all around speed, right? And it's all about that performance. So if you're that person who's interested about learning about this camera, maybe you haven't purchased it yet, or you've purchased it and you're wanting to know all those settings, come join me in my class over at kelby1.com, going over all the new features in the Canon R3.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Hey, we're back, Scott and Erik, and just a note to the network: we're going to run over a few minutes today. We're gonna run over, but let's do some shout-outs real quick.
Yes, we got people joining us all over the world. So we got Tom Reese saying hi from Atlanta.
Hey, Tom.
And then we got Jim saying hi from Maplewood, Minnesota, Dale from Iowa, and then we got Don from South Dakota, Peter from Antwerp, Belgium, Stanley all the way from Maryland, We got Linda over there from West Palm Beach here in Florida. Tobias from Germany. We got Sean over there from the Isle of Wight. Right?
Isle of
White.
White.
And then Paula saying hi from Sunday, Orlando. Jerry saying, here we go, critique times. All right, we got Crush from Dreams.
He said,
there.
keep your head, arms, and legs inside the ride at all times and do not step off until it comes to a full stop.
It's going to be a rough one. All right, and then Mariana saying hi. Shout out to the Grid Women from last week. You were all awesome. Yep, that was great. Love that. And then Teresa is saying hi from Summerfield, Florida. John Duke saying hi from Maryland. Martin saying hi from Mississippi. Carolyn from New York. Cindy from Idaho. I love Idaho. Anyways, all over the world.
Glad to have you all here today. Just want to mention next week, Photoshop World Conference coming up. If you haven't signed up, it is not too late. 3 days, an incredible roster of instructors, and we are going out of our way to once again make it as close to the actual in-person experience as possible. We've got all the same stuff. We got Midnight Madness. We got the After Hours Party. We got the Guru Awards. We got the opening keynote. Oh, do we have an opening keynote?
We got an opening keynote.
We got an opening keynote with a special, very special guest and an opening movie that's
going to be awesome.
That's wild, weird stuff.
If you're into photography, it is good.
You'll get a kick out of it.
If you're watching this, you're into photography, or you're just my wife.
So anyway, let's get to today's images. Blind photo critiques, we've asked folks to send in 3 of their images for an honest critique. We don't know the names of the people unless you watermarked it, right? We don't know the people's names. We're just going to look at the images and give our honest opinion. So now, I was talking to Erik, or I sent Erik an email. Did you get my email about my grid idea?
Yes.
All right. So
I don't think we're going to try it out today.
We're not going to try it out today, but I sent him an idea because while we give an honest opinion, we're still pretty kind. We don't really say what we would say if we're off the air. We're thinking of doing a show, just one episode to see how it goes, called Blind Harsh Critiques, where we actually say what we're thinking. Here we try to encourage you, and we say, yeah, you should.
Yeah, it's okay. You got some potential here.
But we tell you the truth. If it's not good, like the images we're going to look at now, if they're not good, we tell you. Let's take a look here. That's your famous blue goat.
Yeah, white balanced goat.
Bored cat. And equally bored.
That's the problem with animals. They're always in the grass eating. You got to wait.
Yep, they're disengaged. They're not looking at you. First off, we have the blue goat, which is nice. And
when you say blue goat, you're talking about the white
balance being off. It's not really a blue goat. The white balance. Now,
way off.
So here's what happened. The photographer is shooting in auto white balance. When something's in the shade, in this case, it's not even in the shade. It's half in the shade, which is already bad. 3/4 shade. Whatever's in the shade part, the color is going to be off. It's with people. It's with animals. It's with whatever. I do like that you're getting in tight on the animals. And same thing here. It's not as tight as it could be. This, I would think, if you really wanted to do it right. Like, do you really need this? Is this photo about the trees back here? Or is this photo about the cat?
Yeah.
That's not looking at you and that looks bored and tired.
Looks like a cat.
It would be like in there, right? And white balance is not good here either. You need to go towards yellow. Did you notice that his skin in here, his fur, not his skin, his fur in here was blue? And if you don't think it was, take a look. Look at how blue that was.
Yep.
This is a very, very common thing we see.
Yes.
Again and again is folks are not paying attention to color.
Especially when you have highlights and shadows with more shadows.
Yep.
Because in that one, again, only about that little, maybe 20% is lit by a highlight of sun, and then the rest is shadow. So it's going to be blue unless you force it not to be.
Yep. So you could have fixed this in your camera. They would not fix the bored animal.
Well, but cameras are stupid. So with that stuff, you've got to make the decision.
Yeah. You have to go and say shade. That's why there's a white balance on your camera, and its name is shade.
Yep.
Flip and switch it to shade. If you'd have done that, the color would have been done. Why is it important to get your color right? Because if your color is not right, your color is wrong.
Right. And then everything you do is just making it worse and worse and worse through the editing process.
When you add contrast, it makes the bluer blue. Yep. Same thing here. let's take a look. Now, one thing you could do, you could go in here and make it more yellow. Just drag the white balance. But then if it starts to get too yellow, which I don't think that looks good, go over to the color mixer.
Yep.
Get the targeted adjustment tool, which is this tool right. I went too far.
Yep,
right there. The little circle with the little crosshair. All right.
One of my favorites.
It's a great one. Go in here. Click it on the blue area. You can see, look how it reads the color.
It knows it's that color.
And it's like, there's blue there.
There's blue there.
Just drag it to the left, and then the blue goes away. So I'm just going to show you a side-by-side here. See, look, you had blue goat. Nobody wants blue goat.
Yeah.
Now, you could still then go to the basic panel.
Over the goat.
You could go and add a little warmth into there, I think would look good. But that way, I mean, when your animals look weird colors, it's not a good starting place. You did some things right. The eyes are sharp, but you know what it is? And you could say, well, is it a goat? It's not a goat. It's a
ram.
Goat. It's a ram.
Ram.
When the Ram 2500
Super
Duty pickup, it never looked at me. I wasn't there long enough and all. Well, that's why your photos kind of look meh.
That's the problem. Wildlife photography, you got to be patient.
You got to be patient.
I give them credit. I've tried it. I've done
hard.
it.
It's
hard.
But
it is hard
to
be really good at it, because you have to just camp out and wait for those moments and not leave and not pack up and get discouraged.
That's not a moment.
Yep.
Okay, that's not a moment. This is not a moment. This certainly is not a moment. And the colors off here
animals too. Eating just buried in the grass.
Yeah, they're just. Yeah, so what I would tell you is, you do have some obviously post processing or camera issues. If you want to talk about, you should have fixed it in camera. But the fact of the matter is, let's just say that you nailed the color on all three of these. They're just boring photos. I mean, we're supposed to be honest with you. They're boring. This is a boring ram. This is a boring cat. He looks bored. Everyone looks like, eh.
Yeah, it's in focus. You shot it probably at the right f-stop and,
all
whatever.
That. But they're just boring. And no one's going to go, ooh, like you're trying to make images that someone goes, how did you get that? Wow, And what was it? Rick Salmon had a tiger, I think he put on Instagram this week, and I looked at it and you're just like, dang, how did you get that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's what you're looking for. And these are like, so you got some work to do. Don't go buy a new lens. Don't go buy a new camera. Don't go buy anything.
Buy snacks to wait for the animals to do.
Buy snacks. Yes. Erik is right. It's snack time. All right, let's move on.
All right.
Well, this is the best of the three, and it's got a bunch of problems.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, but still, it's kind of like a lot of distracting stuff going on.
Well, let's start here, and we'll call this one "Butterflies in Love." All right. Well,
I can't see I can't see the one butterfly.
Yeah, one butterfly is hidden behind it, but there's. Well, we'll just start.
Maybe it's
with
being discreet.
All right.
Yeah. That's the story here.
Let's go with that. All right. If you did nothing more than hit the flip and auto button, at least your exposure would be okay. But the cropping of this is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's all that dead space.
You got a ton of dead space over there, and actually, it probably should be a tall shot anyway. Maybe something in here would help. Let's open up the shadows a little and add some texture and clarity, and then open up Topaz, sharpen, and fix the fact that it's just not a very sharp photo. It's not out of focus. It's just not really super sharp. It is what Topaz does best. It's like it took a photo that's a little unsharp and it would make it very, very sharp.
And Topaz is good at that. Very good at that.
It's great. So anyway, that's. But it's still you didn't wait for, and it's inappropriate for children. Number 2, another bad composition. The composition here is just not good. The color's bad.
Got the 2 horses hanging out in the back that
had nothing to do with
the frame. Yeah, you got to move.
Right. First, our color's bad. Let's hit the auto button so we have something. Let's move the temperature, make it a little bit warmer so it's not So you don't have blue horses. Take a look at just, you're thinking, I didn't know those horses were blue. It's because you didn't get the color right.
Well, and the horses are lit by this flat, no dimension light. And horses are great when you have a little dimension because they have all the muscles and all that.
All right, so Cindy Meyer is saying, isn't it true that the camera white balance is only impacting the JPEG, not the RAW? If you shoot RAW, you would set the white balance in Lightroom, so the camera setting wouldn't matter. Do I have this right? No. How about no, Cindy?
Well, there's a technical part where you can say, yeah.
I'm going to explain it.
But I know what you're going to say, yes.
Cindy, whatever white balance that you chose in the camera is what you will see in screen when you open it in Lightroom as the as shot white balance.
Yes.
So it is, can you change it after the fact? Absolutely. But Cindy, so you're going to sit out there and you're shooting and the horses look blue. And you're going to look in the back of your camera and you know it's wrong. And you know it doesn't look good. So you're going to go, well, later I can fix it in Lightroom. Is it inspiring to look at the back of your camera and see the colors way off? Does that make you think, oh man, I'm really in the zone? When you see something on the back of your camera that looks great, that sets your creative juices in motion. That starts to get you in the zone, and that's when you start to make great pictures. When you look at the back of the camera and go, yeah. If you look at the back of the camera and go, I know it doesn't look good, but later it will.
I'll fix it.
That's number one. Number two is when you open that photo, whatever white balance you chose in camera is what you see on screen. So, do you want to fix the white balance later, or do you want it to come in and the white balance looks good? You should change your white balance to match the scene in camera so you don't have to do it again. If you're going to take 400 photos, just go ahead and switch the photo to, if you're shooting in the shade or you're shooting in daylight, switch it to daylight, all right? If you're shooting on a cloudy day, switch it to cloudy so your photos look good on the back of the camera. It does affect the JPEG and the RAW, not just the JPEG. That's not, what you're saying is not right. And yes, you can change it later.
You can change it later, but you're making decisions. The other thing is you're making decisions on the back of your camera. They can affect your exposure. Having the wrong white balance really affects your exposure, especially in low light circumstances. I do that a lot. And you'll make decisions and then realize later if your white balance is off, oh crap, I did not know.
All right, let's take a look and get this in a better cropping. So there's the shot. That's what you took the shot for, right? Yeah. Did you take the shot for the two horses walking off and doing nothing? Probably not. Now, part of the problem is that you shot this in just a very harsh lighting.
Yeah, it's hard.
So you could lower the blacks will sometimes help with this. And lowering the highlights. But still, I mean, you can see we just moved a couple of knobs. It's certainly somewhat better. And what's nice is, at least compared to the last photographer, you do have some...
It's a moment of action.
There's a moment of action. Your color and contrast were way off. And, of course, you want to add some texture, bring out some texture, maybe a tad of clarity. But it's unfortunately the time of day. And what you could say is, but that's when the tour bus drove by the horses. Then you need to go back on your own without the tour bus.
Or that's where I was there with the horses. It's like, well, then wait a little bit and go back out.
Yep. The last one has the most promise, but unfortunately, it's still got some issues. This one I can't open the camera raw. Well, actually, here's what I can do. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to force it to open in Photoshop, and then I'll just use the crop tool here, I guess. First off, we could bring this way in and make it a lot more interesting. Yep. Like that. Now, it's reasonably sharp, but it's not topaz sharp. Give it a second. Wait, dude, did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's just standard. It's not normal. It's not blurry. That's just the standard before and after. But look at the water. And look at just the hummingbird.
Yeah. Everything just pops.
Yeah.
The wings. The wings where you really
there's
notice
a before and after. You can look at the wings. Watch the wings. Oh. Yeah, good call. So it's it needs
And
that.
that's usually where you see it in birds and even planes too.
Yep.
All the detail on the wings comes right out.
Oh, it is amazing. The other thing I would do just to draw your attention to the because you don't need this bright area back there. There's a couple of things you could do, but one is, what if you went to and then you can do this in Lightroom. It's the same as Camera Raw. Go to the masking tool, go to the radial gradient, and draw a radial gradient over the subject. Hit invert, so now it controls the background, and then just darken the background a little bit, because you don't need all that bright light kind of. And now you basically have a spotlight where you can put it wherever you want. Anyway, there's a couple of ideas. I think you're way ahead of the last bad wildlife photographer.
Yeah.
That sounds bad, but you know what I mean.
know.
All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, it doesn't get any
Crushing
better.
dreams. We're getting emails on this one.
Yeah, we're going to get, I can't believe you said that. Well, don't send your images in if you just want a pat on the back.
My name is Kaylee Greer, and I'm a professional dog photographer. Kelby 1 has been monumental in this journey of mine. I have the opportunity to pull from years and combine professional experience, like the support system at the touch of a button. Kelby1.com.
Hey everyone, my name is Rob Foldy. I'd like to invite you to check out my new class on how to take awesome sports and action photos using just your iPhone. Maybe you've tried shooting with your phone before and you're frustrated because your content's just missing the mark a little bit. We're gonna unlock all of the secret features that you need to know so that you can start getting better sports and action photos today. We're gonna cover a lot of things in this class. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna cover everything from still photography and all the kind of various options we have there, from regular still photos. We're gonna cover burst mode, live photos. We're gonna kind of move over into video a little bit and talk about how to quickly get to video right from your camera, how to take slow-mo videos. We're gonna talk about things like lens choices, how to use the different lenses that this iPhone or any other iPhone you might have are gonna have available to you. We're gonna talk about storytelling and how not only get just the peak action moments, but also some of those in-between moments that really help you tell the story holistically from start to finish. We have a lot of really, really cool scenes here at this park. We're here at the skate park. We also have baseball. We're working with some great models. We have some really great people that are just here enjoying the park that we're gonna get some content of as well. Come check it out. It's gonna be awesome. You're gonna learn a lot and you're gonna have a lot of fun. It's available exclusively on Kelby1.com.
Hey guys, I'm Tuvi and I'm going to show you two really cool products that we at VFlat World sell. So the first one is our Duo boards, which are double-sided hyper-realistic backdrops for food and product photographers. They come in two sizes. This is the larger side. We have all different types of textures and designs. These are some of the new ones that came out recently, and they also, there's a bag option available for them. And our other product, which is what we actually started the company with, it's called a V-flat. It's a foldable V-flat, and it's used for portrait and studio photographers to control light on their subjects, to either add light with the white side or use the black side to subtract light, or even block like an unwanted window light coming in.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
Hey-o, we're back, crushing hearts, dreams. Want to give a couple of shout-outs. We're going to say, hey, Paul. Paul's watching over in Scotland. So Eric and I left Scotland a week ago. Paul's still stuck there. Still there. I got a question for Eric. I don't know if you've been following Eric on is your Twitter account where you've been
chronologing my hate of Lufthansa?
Of Lufthansa, yeah. They lost his luggage. He never got his luggage the entire trip.
And everybody that works at Lufthansa At least the ones I dealt with hates their lives.
They hate their lives, and Erik's making their lives worse by spamming them on Twitter. But the last I heard that your baggage made it to the United States and made it to Orlando, Florida.
It went to an airport, not the international airport right next to me. The international airport that's 100 miles away.
So, is it still there?
No, it's supposedly on a vehicle being delivered today, but we'll see.
Sure it is.
I'm not trusting anything. I think it's going to Lakeland Linder
Sure
Airport
it is. I'm sure it'll be in Winter Haven by the time you
Yep.
know it.
Venice.
All right. Okay, let's look at some more images. Here we go.
All right. Here we go. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, we got a lot of different
Ouch.
issues.
Ouch.
We got white
All right.
balance issues.
All right,
We've got
we'll start
retouching
here.
issues.
We'll start
We've
here.
got
Okay.
just bad subject issues.
All right, this one. All right, this is okay. All right, let's start here. Let me just open it in Photoshop so we can just.
Ugh.
All right, I know. Ugh.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm used to it by now. All right, so let's look at the compositional problems. Besides the fact that you have way too much headroom in here, why you have the thing we always talk about, stuff sticking in from the sides that ruins your photos. But you have something worse than that. Besides the fact that she's blue, the color's blue, the skin tone's all
blue.
wrong. You chopped off her wrists. When we teach composition for portraiture, there's a whole section on don't crop in places that are uncomfortable, like the wrists. And it's like number one, I think, because let's start with the wrists. The knees and the wrists are the two that you like, the worst egregious ones. You did them both. You didn't do them both.
So maybe we could crop in first to fix
Okay, so first let's do that. I think this shot would probably be best, honestly, as a wide shot. Because I like your subject. I like her. I like her expression's not awful. She's not like giving you like a ton, but it's not awful. Let's go in here, and I think there's a better shot. Oh, I didn't crop that very well. Hang on. I think there's certainly a better shot somewhere in here. And maybe actually a little tighter. Probably there.
No.
Now, let's go see. Now you're thinking, really, the color's off? Is it? Is it? I don't know. Let's see. Look at her skin tone and the one on the left. Look at the color of the wheat. The wheat.
It's even got a green tint to it.
Yeah, it's
You
just.
could even take some of that out.
Yeah, you could go a little toward magenta
Yeah,
and get that
a little
skin
bit.
tone looking better.
Yeah.
And actually, with skin tones, I would probably lower the vibrance just a little bit and get that skin tone really nailed in. Also, you could just hit the auto button and get you a better exposure than you've got there. I mean, just that stuff. Now, I don't like this thing creeping in on the side, so you can either crop it out or just get rid of it with content aware fill. Just select that whole area, let it do its thing, so at least you have that kind of clean. The nice thing is you don't have really anything in her face, but what is this just one little ugly branch doing here? So you could go in with the this and just see if you can get rid of that easy enough. Probably do okay with it. There you go. So you don't have that like going right into her. And this one's not helping either. You can't get rid of the other one because it's like a marquee part of your shot, but we can fix that up, right? All right. And you could sharpen and do some other things like get rid of the little sprout there in the top of her head. You could also just crop that away and get a more intimate portrait. You could go in like this and get a more intimate portrait, and let's just sharpen that up. Because it's also a little soft all the way around. Oh, it's actually more than a little soft.
Yeah.
Oh, that did a nice job.
Yeah, but
look
it
at
was
that.
very soft.
Look at the nice job that did. And I didn't have to move any sliders or do anything. I rarely have to move the slider. Oh, that's a lot better. The other thing that I would probably do is whiten up her teeth a bit. And by doing that, what I would do is actually just go to trying to think of the best way. Let's go to hue and saturation. Let's take this and go to her teeth and drag to the left. Now, of course, that removed all the yellow from the photo. Let's go to lightness and brighten her teeth up a little bit while we're there. Now, you see we got a white mask there. If you press Command I, it makes it a black mask. So hidden behind that black mask is the white teeth. Get a brush, paint in white, and put her teeth in there. Now, I messed that up here. Let's not paint her teeth and all that. And her teeth look gray. That's because we removed all the color. So then you're going to lower the opacity to where it looks normal. Maybe somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So you don't have as much yellowing. See the yellowing in her teeth? You just want it a little brighter. And there's a number of ways to do that, but that would get it more like it probably really looks in real life. So there's a good portrait buried in the one that you took. We just got to dig it out.
What they were thinking.
Yeah.
But it just
we got to dig it out.
Work.
All right. This one just doesn't work. I know that you were drawn to the lighting. 5 points for that. The lighting is kind of interesting on an ugly leaf.
Yeah, it's just a ugly.
It's just
leaf.
ugly. It's just ugly.
There's no prominent, like, that's where I should be looking. Ooh,
this one, you did a retouch on her nose. You used, it looks like the healing brush or something, to get rid of a hot spot, and you left a smear. So you probably did it in Lightroom rather than doing it in Photoshop where it would have been fine. So there's a funky smear on her nose. Her skin is way too warm. Can I open that in camera raw? No. Oh, rats. Oh, and it's out of focus too. It's just the hits keep coming.
Wah,
wah, wah. So first, I would either go a little towards bluish. No, that's too far.
That's hard.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's just lower the saturation amount. There you go. I lowered it by 25. Now, I'm looking at my monitor versus I'm looking at the monitor in the studio. Every monitor looks different. But on mine, her skin tone looks pretty good. And if you look how yellow it was before, you got to back. It's just it was a little too warm. You know that if people.
I mean, you can come in on the nose is just, there's like.
Yeah, it's a bad retouch.
It's just bad.
It's just all bad and all.
And I don't think you've lost all of
the
stuff there.
That's a start over. Start over. All right. So we got some compositional issues. We got some color issues. Got some junky stuff in there, but let's look at another one real quick. Let's see what we got next. Finally, some good photos.
They're not bad at all.
They're not bad at all. That's very cute. The crop is okay. I like the little effect you put on there. This one's nice. It's nicely lit. Everyone looks good. I like the little backdrop and the whole 9 yards. The only thing, and you would have to do this in camera, their legs seem too prominent in the photo. And I don't know what you can do to fix it now, but it's just their legs look just too prominent. It's not bad. I mean, I'm really being picky. It's overall it's pretty good. And this is lovely. Very nice. I would just for this one, this is a very minor nitpick. Maybe just go and add some vignetting around the edges to kind of just darken it up, warm it up a little bit. I think you could also just warm the white balance just a tad too, because they were looking a little, blue. Now, you can really see, and anytime someone's wearing gray or they're wearing white, look and see, does it look a little bluish in there? Yes, it does. And people look better warmer. And also, I think you could probably take the whole thing in a little bit and maybe go down so you're not having like that. Because that bright area up there was drawing your eyes. But still, this is a very good photographer. You're doing a good job. You're a breath of fresh air today. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for submitting your images. Nothing there. No, these are nice. These are interesting. I think that's probably drone footage. I'm saying this is Iceland.
Kind of looks like Iceland.
I'm thinking Iceland.
I think it is.
These are all nice. Nicely done.
I mean, I think you could jazz it up with the sharpening.
I was just going to say, this one looks like you could use a little sharpening.
You could jazz it.
You could jazz it. Let's jazz it. Just throw a little sharpening.
Well, that's not the right one.
That is not the right one. And it's not motion blur. What would it be? Well, let's turn on the sharpen model. Let it do its thing.
It's thinking there's motion blur.
It's thinking there's motion blur, but there's not. Why is my screen flashing? Is it flashing?
Yeah, I saw that. It's flashing.
Yeah, my screen's flashing. You know what I'm going to do? I got a direct HDMI in, so I'm going to unplug that. I'm going to plug it direct in because I can't take this flashing anymore. It's flashing on me. Adapter. Who brings an adapter to a party?
Who throws a shoe?
It needs a little sharpening, but I haven't found the one that I like yet, but bet it's not blinking now. They're going to say in the control room, we don't see your computer.
There it is.
No, they see my computer. All right. All right, so this is pretty
It's
good.
good, though.
Good
It's
stuff.
good.
You're good. Oh, now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
That's some good stuff.
Yes, yes, yes.
The shadows looks a little weird on that one, or something.
No.
Something looks funky on that one.
I don't know. Are you wondering if that sky perhaps was...
Maybe that's it. There's just something because it looks like it's a harsh shadow and then like it's overcast and looks too harsh of lines.
Of course, you don't know what the shadows were over the plane.
Yes, I don't, but that one's throwing me off.
I'm okay with that one. That one doesn't bother me.
No, they're all great. I really like it.
I love this one.
Yeah, I like it.
I love this, but I want to say, I believe, Eric, may I call you Eric?
Yes.
Eric, I believe that wonderful long exposure streaky sky, I'm not saying it was added in post. I'm saying the streaks were. Here's why. There's a ghost.
Oh, yes, it was.
There's a ghost right there. Right around the prop. Which means I believe motion blur or zoom blur in Photoshop was applied there. I think it is a great idea, but you got to cover your tracks.
Or just throw like a 13 stop ND on there and just let it go.
Let it rip.
20 stop ND.
These are good though. I like your composition a lot. There's a lot to like here. Good stuff. Yay. Hey, things are taking a turn for the better. How about these? Okay, they're all blue, but and these are good shots. So good. We're still good. This one in particular, I think, is really good. It could use a slightly tighter crop. I think would help it. White empty sky's not helping you. I think if you were to go correct the thing, I think they went with like a tone over it.
Yeah, they're trying.
I think they're trying to tone it blue for a look, which is okay. Because they're all toned that blue. I don't think that's a white balance problem. But they're good. These are good. Nicely done. All right. Well, there's some good things going on here.
Definitely hitting the moments of action.
Peak moment of actions. That's the key thing.
That's the hard thing with sports. So you got that.
And they're not putting a bunch of stuff in the frame that's not there.
Isolating the frame, yeah.
Now, this photo is blurry.
Very blurry.
How blurry, Eric?
Very blurry.
Is it so blurry that we can't fix it?
That's the very blurry in Topaz.
Let's change it to very blurry. And then let's back it off so we can actually see it.
Oh, no, you don't want to back up.
Okay,
Probably not that much. Probably just go to 100.
Well, 100 was where we were.
Oh, that's where we were.
Wait for it.
Yeah, no, that's too much. Maybe going.
Wait, out of focus? Let's try out of focus. Now, motion blur.
Try the motion blur normal. And then back off the blur just a little. Well, I don't know.
It's certainly
This is
better.
where you just have to
but this
play
one,
with
this
it.
one isn't as good as normal. Let's let it do its thing.
It's picking motion blur normal too.
Yeah.
And then you can hit that and then hit that and then it'll hit this one.
How many things am I hitting here, Eric?
Right there. No, now it's trying to select the subject.
All right, sorry. Hang on, I hit the wrong button.
Which is a cool thing that they do have in Topaz. It'll try to select the subject, kind of like Photoshop and Lightroom have select subject.
Oh, I hit a button I did not want to hit.
Oh, it's all going down.
Oh, it's all going down. Can I cancel? Can I do anything? Okay, let's.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, there we go.
It's a hard one.
Yeah, I'm surprised this one didn't, because normally it's magic, and this time it's okay. It's better.
Yeah, it's better. You can actually like make out the edge of the lettering.
No, it's better.
It's better.
I don't know why it was turning blue there. Hang on. Oh, because I have the move. Yeah, it's better. It ain't great. But anyway, that one, and it also, he needs some color. Today is, I'm making all my photos blue day. What's wrong with you folks? Yeah, you can look at the parking lot. The parking lot is blue. If the parking lot's blue, but look at the ball and the bat, that's like perfect timing. So your timing is really good.
Yeah, you're shooting at a high shutter speed, all the good stuff, zoomed in, really tight. You know, it's like all good there.
This is good. I wish the ball was in focus, but it would have been great to see him, but it would be almost impossible to do.
That's a hard one. That would be...
I would be tempted to
replace it.
If I'm not doing it for reportage,
Yes.
I would be tempted to replace that with a different ball.
Yeah.
I would be more than tempted. But it's blue too. Are we not seeing the blue here?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. There you go.
A little bit.
There you go.
Blue. Look at the ball. Look at the whites and this blue. Come on, sheeple. All right. Oh, pretty good though. I mean, one of the better sports ones we've seen. Uh-oh. We need a mental break before we do this one. And if this is your photo, I would get a drink on this break. Go get.
We're going to take a break.
I don't mean
need a break.
I don't mean a cup of coffee. When we come back, it's time for therapy. Stick around.
This segment of the grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact
6.
tripod base.
Hey, we're back. Scott and Erik here.
We had a drink.
We had a drink. We had a stiff drink just now. Let's take a look at what we got. Let's take a look at these beauties. Here we go. How about new? No. No.
They're nice. They're nice snapshots of I went somewhere, and hey,
And I took
this
this
is
out
where
of,
we went. Hell, we were standing there. You
And
weren't
I-
there.
and I took this out of the car window
Yep,
with
car
the window up.
Well, maybe they rolled down the window, but
I don't know. All right, this
was
one's
like a
just
car window
so
shot.
flat. So let's just hit the auto button as a starting place. It needs contrast. It needs auto whites and auto blacks. It needs texture. It needs vibrance. It needs everything. It needs a sky. So go to your masking, add a linear gradient. Let's get some sky in here. Lower the exposure so you can see that there was actually stuff. Oh, clean your sensor, by the way. Might want to. Wow.
man, you're on a roll today.
Let's make that sky a little bluer. We got to
Maybe
cut
that's
is
why
haze.
I got the sensor spot. Just let the sky blow out to hide the sensor spots all in my sensor. Look at all of them. There's like 30 of them up there.
It's
Maybe
a
40.
yeah. Look
Maybe
at this.
40.
It's a farm.
It's probably a Sony.
Dang Sony. I mean, that's 30 seconds of fixing it. It gets to okay. This is the best one of the three for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
And with some post processing, you could get there. It's the problem is kind of this. You don't have any kind of subject or anchor or something to bring you into the photo. It's just kind of a landscapey scene, and I don't know where. Now you do have it. Almost gives you a leading line, kind of in the valley.
Yeah, but like I think that's what you're going for. And then there's like this little puddle out there.
Yeah, it's not the way. With a little bit of work, it could certainly be better, but we got to start there. I don't know what to tell you here. This is are these reflections? Look at that. That's got to be a reflection from a car window. Look at that. Those aren't in the water. They're straight from here to there. That's not in the water, bro. That's
that
not
could
in
be
the water.
Unless there's a trees back there.
Nah,
Something.
it's not a
right there. What's that?
That's a tree, and that's its reflection. This is different. These are out of a car window. All right, and it's everything bad. If you were really going to take a picture, hold on, of a moose, just hit the auto button to start with. Pull back those highlights because they're all blown out up there.
Try to get in tighter too.
Why? And the moose is eating, which is nice.
I'm really
It's
just
not
surprised.
just
Like the moose is out in that harsh of.
Now
sunlight.
this one, there's no sky, but and when we do fix the sky, you know what's going to happen. We're going to see a million sensor spots. Let's start off by straightening it, for goodness sake. All right, there. Just all you have to do is hit the auto button. Just hit the auto straighten button, and it'll straighten it. I don't mind your composition. If you had a really interesting sky, it would be perfect. If you had an interesting sky, this would be great.
I mean, that's what I see. There's potential there, but it needs a really interesting sky, not like a.
All right. Well, let's just go and.
What happens if you just try to cut through what the sky is there? Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
It's not good. Let's add some contrast and a little texture and clarity. Okay, let's do this. Here's our only hope.
Sky replacement.
Sky replacement. Done.
Better.
All right. So here's what I would tell this person. You got to work on your vision. Number one. You got to work on kind of your composition and your vision. Because you're in cool places, but you're coming away with boring photos. Number two, you got to work on your post-processing. Your post-processing needs a lot of work. The post-processing today is so key. It's not just good enough to have a nice camera and a nice lens. You got to know the post. You got to. It's just part of where we're at. You got to be able to sharpen your photos. You have to be able to get rid of dust spots all over your sensor. At this point, take your sensor to the camera store and say, I need someone to clean my sensor. Now, the reason why Erik is mentioning Sony is because they are famous for collecting sensor dust.
They don't have a curtain that comes down below the sensor, so anytime you switch, you're just opening up your camera to dust.
Right. On my R6, when I take off my lens, when I go to take it up, it closes a door. It shuts a door over the sensor to keep sensor junk from getting in. And you know how much sensor junk I have on my sensor? And I've been shooting it for numerous places. None. Zero. No sensor dust. You're breeding sensor. You have a sensor dust farm.
Now, Nikon suffers from that same problem. However, you can force it closed, but I don't understand why Nikon just doesn't make it closed like the Sony.
Is that your picture? Your desktop picture?
No.
I was going to say, that's really nice.
That's really cool, huh? Yeah. That's the Apple one.
Is that Apple?
I was like, yeah, I want to do something like that.
But it looks like one of yours. That's why
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm like, I want to do something like that. I get ideas from that.
All right, so we got some work to do. Forget the moose. Forget the moose. Tell me what movie that's from.
I don't know.
Arthur. Anyway, he's got a dead moose on the wall, and Arthur's all...
I do remember Arthur, but I don't remember that scene.
Yeah, he goes and meets her father, and he's got a moose attached to the wall.
Oh, okay.
And he keeps, you must have hated this moose. Anyway, he's like, forget the moose. Yeah, forget the moose eating in the middle of the day in the worst possible light with car window reflections. We got some work to do. All right, let's go.
How about new?
Oh, look.
Hey.
Hey.
Okay. Definitely doing good at like the skies and the environment.
Yes.
Yeah. I literally like this one.
I love the red.
Yeah, I love this one.
I love it.
The other ones, they're cool, but they don't have anything besides that.
Yeah, this one, and it's the same place, I think. Well, maybe not.
I mean, similar place.
This one's nice. I love your bold use of colors. These
Yeah.
You've
I
gone,
love that one.
But you're not trying to say this was the natural light that was there. You're doing your own thing, and I like it. I like it.
Well, you're taking what was there and just amping it up to 11.
I would like this one if I could see more of the town and the city. It seems a little too dark at the bottom.
And where it's cropped in the town and the city.
It's a little funky. Let's go here. I'm going to put a linear gradient going this way to open that up a little bit. Maybe go a little further with it. Just want to see a little bit more of that. Now that you've opened up that area, you could still put a little tiny vignette in there to get the edges off. Yeah, see, it'd still be okay. But I like all of them. I think you got something there. You got something, kid. You got moxie. That's nothing.
Somebody submitted nothing.
Well, that's interesting. That is a really colorful bird. That is a really, really colorful hummingbird.
Yeah, but the hummingbird guy almost gets lost.
It does. So
yeah,
it's a really good shot. What if we could do this?
Yeah, that's my
go
favorite,
to masking.
but it's just getting lost.
I don't know if this is going to work. Do select subject. It got the hummingbird, most of it.
Most of it. But you could even pick up that little bit just with the
you could just go add brush and pick up this area that it missed back here. All right.
Yeah.
And maybe part of that tail. And this, we're going to get really small with this brush. Now, once you have the hummingbird selected, you're going to hit the inverse button because you don't want the hummingbird.
Mm-hmm.
The hummingbird you got nailed, but the background is too bright. You need some separation. So let's darken the background. Why is it? What happened?
Is the opacity on the selection?
I don't bloody know. Let's undo a few steps and see. So
I think it's just you were just inverting the brush.
Oh, I want to invert
The
this
mask.
mask. Yeah, I want to invert this mask.
That's what you did.
Yeah, that's probably what I did. Let's go see. How do I do that now?
You gotta scroll up.
Oh, there. I was going to say.
But it's only inverting the brush.
All right, let's
Maybe
do this.
Just deselect that and just select. I mean,
Can I deselect that?
I don't know why it's like holding on to the
Yeah.
brush and not giving you the mask.
Yeah, I want this mask to invert. But
maybe invert that one and then invert the subject, or select the subject one now and invert it. Like select that. I mean,
there's
a
something bad
crappy
here.
way of
All right.
going. I don't know what's going on with.
I don't know what's
computer.
going on here. All right, we're going to have to do it the hard way. We're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way like we did back in the 1800s. Let's just take it into Photoshop regular. Let's somehow select this sucker. Let's try the object selection tool.
Select subjects as a selection.
Or that.
Or object selection tool.
Now, it's selected a little too much like this flower here. And a little bit too much here. I'm doing this very quickly. But we got to separate this awesome hummingbird from this busy background. So then we'll put it on its own layer. Then we can just go darken this. This is going to be a little rough. It's going to be more than a little rough. But that's okay. Camera Raw does that. Watch. Okay, I went too far. Woo, I went way too far. But I'm not done. I want to do two things. I would darken it a little. And then go depth blur. Go to the neural filters. Go to down here to depth blur. Turn it on. And just blur that some more.
Yeah, that's like I'm going to have a fancy lens blur.
Give it a minute.
That's I could only afford the F4, and now I got the F2.
It's almost there. There we go. And see how that blurs the background and creates some separation? So before and after, let's see here. I'll just use the history. So from here to there. It didn't do a great job.
Didn't do a great job. That failed.
Okay, let's do this.
You're just going to have to do like a regular
I'll just do it.
blur.
No. I'm going to do it just the lens blur.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, just
blur,
old-fashioned.
Lens blur.
Yep.
Remember, it's just blurring the background. Okay, you got to work with this a little. I don't want it to look like a composite when we're done.
Yeah, that's a little hard.
A little bit, but you see what the issue is. It's such a great shot. It is such a great shot that I want it to work. It's going to take more time than we have on the grid, but you get the idea. You got to do something. This one could use the same thing. The blur is okay. I think it's just a little darker behind it, but that's kind of good. And I wonder, Eric, may I call you Eric?
Yeah, the white balance is off.
The white, my thing is I want to go blue with it.
Yeah, you do want to go blue with it, but then also you're lighting the foreground up with a blue light.
Yes.
And at night, you're usually about 3,200 to 4,000 Kelvin, and you're probably using a headlamp that's putting out like 6,000, 5,600 Kelvin. So you're lighting your foreground blue.
Nerd alert.
Well, it's the same principle that you're talking about. You're lighting it's like lighting with flash and not putting a gel on it. That's what you're doing with that headlamp.
All right, so here's what I'm doing here. I'm just doing a linear gradient, and I am adding blue there. I went too far. I've blown this all together. Here we go.
Yes.
Watch. Let's
try this. Do select sky.
Oh yeah, there's that.
Try it. It works pretty good.
I know.
Usually.
Hang on.
Usually for Milky Way stuff.
No,
it's
it
pretty,
does.
Pretty
select sky
defined. It just might not catch that light pollution over there. Yeah, that's the only thing it didn't catch.
Well, we don't want it to be blue over there anyway.
Yeah.
Add some blue. And while we're here, Maybe a little dehaze.
Yeah, dehaze will make the Milky Way pop, and then actually
clarity.
And then you can actually take down the texture, because texture just makes all the stars pop and not the Milky Way core pop. And then it's underexposed.
The whole shot's underexposed?
Yeah, they only shot at 2500 ISO. You shoot at 2500 ISO, your Milky Way's never going to look good.
Yeah.
It's getting better.
I don't
and then
like
we
the
could
green.
Really,
the green there is kind of funky.
Again, you could take the foreground, change the color temperature of the foreground more warm, and then we could take that light pollution and make that light pollution less pronounced, probably with like a hue saturation luminance on that light pollution.
All right. Where's the light pollution? Over here?
Yeah, all that just screaming yellow that's over there.
Screaming yellow in the sand. Make me happy. Okay.
You had an HSL on that.
Color mixer, saturation.
Yeah, just target that saturation and just blow it out. Yeah. Well, you don't have to go drastic, but just reducing it.
Say
like
where?
That.
Yeah, there.
Yeah, just reducing it so it's not screaming out at you.
And then while we're here, can I go and grab this stuff? This green, get rid of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see it's getting better.
Yeah, I mean, we could really just work it, but that's the problem is mixing a color temperature that's not the Milky Way's color temperature, just like in Flash. If you don't gel your flash or you don't gel your light, you're basically going to paint with a color that's not the right color.
These are all really nice. I saw these earlier. So when we were in Scotland, we kept trying to get these.
Oh, yeah.
What are they called?
Highland cows.
And they did so much better than we did, and we shot these to death.
We did not shoot these to death.
Yes, we did.
For 40 minutes.
3 times.
40 minutes.
We stopped.
Maybe. Scott was like, "Oh my gosh, why are we shooting cows again?"
Yeah, because none of our cows look like these. These are
none
really
of the cows
nice.
did look like that. You're
these
absolutely right.
These are really nice.
Those are awesome.
These are awesome. I wish none of us have shots like that. Well
and in
done.
fact, yeah, those are awesome. But of
Those
course,
are awesome.
they probably spent more than 30 minutes doing that.
All right, let's look at what we got here. I know, I like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
How about this one?
Ooh, that's nice.
These are real good. This is my least favorite.
Yeah, well, it's also where that
looks very
tree is,
flat.
where it's intersecting to. Yeah, it's a weird spot.
This one I really like.
Yeah.
Getting some vapes. And this is really great. There's the knife edge pass. No, what would you call this one?
Well, they're
The
dirty.
upside down plane, inverted.
Yeah.
But that's a really great sharp. It's crisp.
I love how they're, I love how they fly where they're looking at the other plane. Yeah, it's great to see.
You'd better.
It's awesome.
You'd better.
It's so cool.
Those are good. Really nice
Yeah.
job. Thank you for submitting because we needed some good stuff. Now look at these.
That's a hummingbird shot.
Oh, that's a hummingbird shot. So is that.
That
Aren't
is.
these lovely?
Oh, that's great.
These are great.
Forget it.
Dude, they're getting the separation from the background. They're nailing it.
Yeah, we can't say anything.
This one could be tighter.
Maybe. I still think it's great.
Yeah, these are awesome. Wow.
I'd be really happy. I think those are the best of the day.
Yep. Uh-oh.
And we took a turn. They just
pulled the plug.
HDMI just pulled.
HDMI said, I don't know what's going on
I
here.
don't know what to do.
All right, what's our subject? And don't say the trees.
That's all it could be is the trees. And especially the
Where am I
leaning
looking?
over ones and little branches going everywhere.
Ugh. This is the best of the bunch.
I would agree. Yes.
But
it's only because it's like an interesting texture.
right, but it doesn't really even have a thing.
It doesn't have a subject. It's
I'm
just
guessing
interesting
it's the
texture.
brown leaf on the right, but I don't really know.
like this one right over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's painful.
You need, when I see images like this, the first thing I think of is this photographer really doesn't know what makes a good photograph. They really don't know. They're just shooting whatever. Like I'm outdoors and I'm just, well, here's some trees, here's some aspen trees. I've seen beautiful shots of aspen trees. If you go to 500px, type in aspen trees, you're going to go, oh, I was supposed to shoot like that. I think what it is you're going out blind. Like you're just shooting what they give you. You're not trying to make a picture. You're not there at the right time of day. You got to really look at what makes a great photo and go and try to capture that kind of photo. These are just I was there and I took a picture kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right, just a couple more and we're done.
The network's going to pull our feed soon.
Yeah, I know. These are all not bad.
That one's the best.
That's probably the best because it's got some action. This one I like the fire.
Yeah, but it's not driving on anything. It's like a weird angle.
Yeah, you're not seeing any. It's like, is it driving in the grass? How did it get out there in the grass?
Well, and if it was driving in the grass, you'd see stuff flying up because it's going so fast.
Yeah, I don't think it's driving in the grass. And the other, but it's also the wheels aren't spinning fast enough. This one's not bad, but none of the wheels are spinning.
But
so they're all parked.
They're not terrible.
Yeah. All right. They're not terrible. They're not bad.
Not cellular gear.
They're not bad. They're
not
like
cellular gear.
All right. Nice.
Interesting.
Nice. Ooh, nice. Nice. This one's very interesting looking. Kind of like it. You got nice leading lines leading to the house. House looks like it's going over the edge.
Yeah, well, it does.
It's kind of interesting.
It does look like it's going.
Taking some nice light. This is some very, very nice light. I want to see more of the foreground. I mean, if it were me, I would just want to see a little more of what's going on in here. Like just open up those areas a little bit.
Just weird. Yeah, and the skies though are just.
Yeah, your skies are not helping your case.
Both shots are not helping your case.
But what if there was a way?
I know, but people are gonna have that you have to get the reflection too. That's the thing. It takes a little bit more effort.
It takes more effort, but it's doable.
And that's why people don't do it.
That's a little over the top there.
Yeah. It at least starts helping.
There's a decent sky, and then go put the reflection in. All right, but nice shots. Very nice. Very nice. That's nice. All right, let me see next. Don't move, don't breathe, don't make a sound. One second, hang on. Eric, you want to give the prizes
away? Yeah, let me give away the prizes. So we got Susie Q is winning the How Do I Do That in Lightroom book. Then we have Jay Dahl winning Scott's travel photography book. Then Nina is winning the dual boards. And then we have Schnauzer Mom winning the V-flat. And then Jeff Barnes winning the goosenecks. And then Juta winning the On-One effects. So just email us over there at gridprize@kelby1.com. We'll verify your information and then send you out your prize. So there you go.
All right, I believe this is going to be the last one of the day. Let's take a look.
I like that one.
That one's okay.
I mean, it's
the other two are what we call shots of nothing.
Yes, I mean the last one is like it's okay. It's good.
So I talk about when I talked about what makes a good travel photo, and I said I showed examples of shots of nothing. Now she's not in focus. If you thought that it was interesting that she had this over her head, then
that's the only thing. That's the only thing that you could think.
Right.
At this point, we're just led to think that it's her with the thing on her head.
It's crooked as heck. The whole photo is just absolutely crooked as anything. Look at the street. You think the street's that crooked? People falling over and
then
stuff.
It's weird where her hands are cut off.
Yeah, this is needs to be like that probably.
Yeah.
Look at the university sign. It's probably somewhere in there. Is straight.
It's getting close.
But she's way out of focus. It's just kind of a shot of nothing. The next one, I don't know where to look or what it is. There's like a disembodied leg.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
I don't even know what this is.
That kind of looks like you just kind of took your phone camera out of your pocket and hit the button on accident.
This one's okay because at least it's clear what the subject is.
Right. I think that's the only thing that one is like, okay, do more of that just because at least there's like a framing, there's some color, there's a clear subject.
This one's certainly the best. The other two are nah.
Yeah, like don't do that.
Right.
Do that.
All right. All right, folks, that's it for this show. We are 27 minutes over, which is boof.
Painful.
That's a long one. Did we give away the prizes?
We did.
All right, we gave away the prizes. I've got, I think, one spot left for my trip to Tuscany. Doing a workshop in Tuscany, October, 4th, 5th, somewhere in October. Go to scottkelbyworkshops.com if you want to join me. I got one spot left.
And you'll get some great travel photos.
You'll learn about travel
and you'll
photography.
learn what makes a great travel photo.
And you will come back with amazing shots. We've got an amazing location in the heart of Tuscany. Mimo Madani is there teaching with me. Mimo is a joy. You will learn so much about travel photography. You will eat wonderful, amazing Italian food. We are going to have some food, let me tell you.
But that's the place to have it.
Great itinerary plan. Got a great group of folks. We got one spot left. If you want to grab that last spot, go to scottkelbyworkshops.com. Come with me in October. You will have a wonderful, wonderful time.
And Worldwide Photo Walk. Don't forget that we got the contest going on.
It's Friday.
And also, don't forget you can still donate to the Worldwide Photo Walk. It supports the Springs of Hope Orphanage in Kenya.
Yep, so everything that you donate, 100% of it goes straight to the orphanage.
You can still buy a T-shirt even if you didn't have one too. And
if you walked and you just want some memorabilia.
Yeah, 100% of that goes to the
100% of the profits
too.
Of the profits.
100% of the profits, yes.
Because they take
and 100% of the donations. 100% of the donations. 100% of the profits go there.
But Erik keeps like 5% for lenses. Just saying.
No, I'm good.
No, he does. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks to our sponsor. Thanks to everybody that's sending. It takes guts to send your images in for critique.
It does,
especially today.
This week, I think like we did I feel like we did the harsh one without doing the harsh one.
Because there was a lot that I didn't show. There were a number of people that had submitted that I could not show because my only thing would be.
Yeah, it's hard if we can't help.
Hey, nice jib work there.
Ooh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, there we go. Oh, we're back in the frame.
What the heck?
It's getting so bad. It's getting so bad. It's falling apart.
It's falling apart. We're critiquing our own
We're just trying to get to 30 minutes over here. We just like 15 more seconds.
Like 15 seconds, we can actually go over 30. Anyway, thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to our crew here at Kelby One. Thanks to you guys for watching. Thanks to everybody that submitted who have tough skin, we hope. Thanks to the Kuna man for not gallivanting this week.
Yeah.
Catch you next time.
30 minutes right there.
See ya.
We crossed it.